Well, conservative columnist and Fox News contributor Charles Krauthammer suggesting last night, moments before the State of the Union address, that what President Obama really wants is a European-style social democracy with government programs, high taxes, and an equality for all mindset. Here he is on the O'Reilly Factor.
What is Obama at core? He's a community organizer. He's a man who believes in leveling between the classes. He's a man who wants to go against inequality, to reduce inequality, and to bring what the left, he's a man of the left, will call social justice. What's the biggest model of that in the world? Western Europe. He's a European social democrat.
Fair? Joining me now, Ben Ferguson, founder of the Icon Radio Network and host of The Ben Ferguson Show, and Sally Cohn, who's a political blogger and Fox News contributor. All right, panel, welcome. So let me get your thoughts. In response to that, Sally, I'll start with you.
Sure. Well, you know, I don't quite understand what's so European about a set of ideas that not only are squarely within America's founding values and in the tradition of both Democratic and Republican leadership over the last several years, but poll after poll shows broadly supported by the majority of Americans, including, by the way, most Republicans. I mean, most Americans want to see inequality addressed, don't want to see our government continuing to just help the wealthiest of the wealthy and big business. Most Americans, including most gun owners, support common sense gun laws. Most Americans think we need a path to citizenship for aspiring Americans. So I'm really not entirely sure where this pot shot comes from.
I think Charles was speaking more in terms of the economic policy, not so much some of those social programs. But Ben, I quoted earlier from Greg Sargent of the Washington Post, who's a liberal, who is talking about this address and this message as being about economic fairness, shared sacrifice, and aggressive government.
Well, look at what the president did last night. He proposed 20 new plus government programs to level the playing field. He talked about how it should now be an American dream for you to work on minimum wage, him giving you a certain wage mandated by the government if you're employed so that you can live with your family. Minimum wage was never created for a human being to support a family of four. It's a bare minimum entry-level job. It's an opportunity, many would say, even at best. But he's now turning that into some sort of great career path to stay on minimum wage. And that's part of this worldview he's got, which is, look, if you make a lot of money, you really don't need a whole lot. And I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure those that don't have any get it through either a government program, through me taxing you more, through me mandating bare minimums for them to show up for work. And it's a sad American dream, but that's what he wants.
Sally, you were making a face when Ben was talking about the president thinking, you know, you've made enough money or so on. But his history of comments completely bears that out. And here's just a sample of what we've pulled.
Right now, everybody's so pinched that business is bad for everybody. And I think when you spread the wealth around, it's good for everybody.
We're not trying to push financial reform because we begrudge success that's fairly earned. I mean, I do think at a certain point you've made enough money.
And in each instance, when the rate dropped, revenues from the tax increased. The government took in more money. And in the 1980s, when the tax was increased to 28%, the revenues went down. So why raise it at all, especially given the fact that 100 million people in this country own stock and would be affected?
Well, Charlie, what I've said is that I would look at raising the capital gains tax for purposes of fairness.
Sally?
Look, look, we're a nation that was founded on the principle of fairness and the idea that people at the top and people at the bottom, if they work hard, should be able to get ahead. Look, I mean, if you want to make up things about the president, that's fine. But the fact is, the president isn't talking about equality of outcomes. He's talking about equality of opportunity. And hardworking Americans know. And hardworking Americans know the facts that American businesses have become more profitable in the last generation while wages have been stagnant or, in fact, adjusted for inflation, gone down. That's not fair.
This is exactly what I'm talking about, which is what you think. You think that any person that creates wealth, that any person that does it on their own somehow got some unfair advantage, and so now you want to change the laws so that you assume that everybody at the bottom is working hard trying to survive. The president said it. He believes genuinely that there is a certain amount of arbitrary success that an American is allowed to have before he starts taking from from that success and giving it to people, and then somehow their lives are going to be complete. That is not what made this country great.
Ben, you seem to think that everyone who's struggling to get by in this country is simply lazy. Look, 25% of Americans...
No, that's not what I'm saying. But when you struggle and work hard, you can succeed.
Ben,
sure.
Can I finish? 25% of Americans right now who earn low wages are working parents who are earning the minimum wage or lower. You know, in this economic recovery,
earning less than minimum wage?
Can I finish? Because, for instance,
no, but you just said they earn less than minimum wage.
Let her finish. Because, for instance, the tip minimum wage in this country for tip workers is $2.13 an hour. It has been since 1991. Look, Ben, the reality is, in this recovery, we have been losing middle-class jobs. We have been increasing low-wage jobs, while profits at the top have gone up, and businesses are sitting on $2 trillion that they're not using to create wages. Now, I don't understand why conservatives want to defend the ability of the top to do well and don't want decent wages for hardworking people.
Right.
What's the problem?
Go ahead. Give them the chance to respond.
Listen to what I'm actually saying. Barack Obama says that if I own a business, he wants to mandate what I pay people. $9 an hour is a prime example. I worked for a minimum wage in my life multiple times when I was younger. It was an entry-level job, but now as a small business owner, if the president says, Ben, I'm mandating that you pay this wage, I'm either going to cut hours, which hurts the person that you claim is working so hard, you claim is suffering, you claim is not getting a fair shake. Well, why should I have to cut their hours? I mean, look at the facts. You raise minimum wage, hours get cut, jobs get cut. It hurts poor people. Let them work and have a chance at a future instead of mandating some arbitrary number.
We got to leave it at that because we have to lighten things up with a story about the heart attack grill. But good debate, as always, you two. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Sally. Coming up in a minute,